Hi, y'all. Good morning. Grand rising. All of those good things. Listen, I was listening to someone's video, and there's a lot of things that people go through that some of us can very well relate to simply because we either experienced it or, we was just in the midst of it taking place. I have to I like talking about things that's happening with people that I've experienced myself. You know, when you say hurt people, some of us do it after the fact of knowing that we are hurt, and then some of us do it without the intent in knowing that we hurting the other person, only because we were brought up that way. I'm talking about the guy Suey. You know, I was brought. I'm not gonna talk about Suey. I'm just gonna talk concerning what he allegedly went through or supposedly went through. You know, I never talked to the guy. I would love to talk to him. But anyway, I'm gonna talk about me and possibly somebody out there have went through the same thing or know somebody going through it, and it can encourage you to know that you can move forward. You can move forward. I'm not gonna be too long because I'm on my way out that door. But anyways, and I feel like I'm ashy, dry. I'm gonna just talk a little bit about what I went through. My mother back in 1971, she was killed. She was robbed. She was stabbed up multiple times on our way to work. My mother was a nurse, and this was back in 71, 1971. But anyways, my it was six of us, and I'm the baby girl. And so my father went and married a young woman who had one child. So with all seven of us being raised in the house, six of us coming underneath a stepmother, I can remember all the abuse, all the abuse that was taking place in that house. But even though at that age you don't know, you don't know how to process all of what the shit is going on. You just, I guess, as a child, you just asking why, you know. You just trying to figure out why is this happening. But anyways, I know for a fact, and that still, it is what it is still to this day. It's a sad situation because I can remember her having that daughter, and it was me and my other sister we 11 months apart, and I had two other sisters, but the biological sister that was 11 months apart from me and her, and the stepmother daughter, she like a year or two younger than me. All right, But I can remember how it was a difference between how she would treat me and my biological sister compared to her daughter, right? I could just remember all of these things. And even at that age, because I'm about, I was 4 when my mother died, or transition, if you will. Uh, and so all I knew was mommy. I'm just thinking mommy. That's my mommy. I'm talking about the stepmother. And she would sort of reject, I'm assuming it was rejection because I always would run to her but never felt that love. Never felt that love, as if I was being pushed away or something. And just the way she would embrace her daughter and give the time to her daughter, I would watch that. You know what I'm saying? And so coming up under that roof, it was it was a lot of pain. It was. And then I would watch how my daddy would do the woman as time went on. It was always a lot of arguing and fighting, and I'm talking about some serious fighting shit. You know what I mean? Like some way out there shit that we witnessed in that house with her and my father. But this was like years after, she had done been married to him, at least 4 or 5 years after she's married him. Because now I'm a teenager and I'm witnessing all this shit and I know what the fuck going on. But anyway, when we got older, like in our teens, I'm talking about me and my other sisters and brothers, the biological ones. This woman would say things to us because of the abuse she was receiving from my daddy. It was like she was trying to turn us, now that I know that's what she did. But at the time, it was like she was making us believe that he was this monster, simply just to take the blame off of her and what she was doing to us. Okay? Okay, but we now older and you begin to come into an understanding on what's really fucking taking place. All right? So my oldest sister, she left the home. She went to college. And then my brother, he went off to college and then to the service. And then my other sister, underneath my oldest sister, she left the home. She's transitioned now. At 31, she's transitioned. And then I have another brother underneath her. He left the home. Everybody was leaving the home. And when I left the home, we would try to go back to the house at times. But you could tell she never wanted us around. I'm talking about the stepmother. Even before we all left, she started, she was in a space where she would tell us things about our daddy and have us to believe that he didn't, I guess, didn't really care. You know what I'm saying? About us. You know, first of all, you got 6 children that's left with a man that needs, not need, but I'm guessing just wanting some help to raise these children. So you got 6 children with a young woman. You got a father that's running the street, drinking all the time. My daddy was a DJ, and Bluetooth's the DJ. And you got all of this shit going on with her trying to manipulate the situation, not knowing at the time, couldn't understand why my daddy was doing what he was doing, like leaving the home, always going drinking. He was a worker. He worked his ass off. You know what I'm saying? But in his timing, he was drinking and partying, just doing what the fuck he wanted to do. Not being home, leaving us home with her. So now we being not only physically abused, because it was times that she would say things to him to cause him to react with whipping our ass. It could be some miscellaneous shit, but she gonna bring it to his attention, and now he gonna bust our ass. That abuse, and then you got the abuse with her, because you know the love is not being given. It was almost like, how you go get a motherfucking nanny to watch the kids, and when you leave, the nanny treat the fucking children any kind of way. It was a situation like that. There were times that she would do things with us that, we were happy in the moment, but for the most fucking part, it didn't override all of the emotion, the turmoil of emotions that you went through in that household. And so as we got older and we started trying to go back around the house, you knew when you entered into that house, she didn't want you there. She didn't want you there. She would say things like, before we left, oh, I'm just going to, again, she would just basically make it seem as if, she was there to make certain that we grew up and, become women and men before she left. That was her way of saying, I'm here because of you all. And that wasn't it. That wasn't it. She just didn't know how to leave the abusive situation, period. But she used that for a long time. I can vividly remember her saying, uh, yeah, when y'all make 18 and y'all get out of here, that's it, I'm gone. She's still there today. Still fucking there today. And I'm 52 years old. Okay? But anyway, like I said, we would go there. You could tell the energy was off. She didn't want you there. It was basically her daughter. And then I had a brother she ended up having with my daddy too, after, behind her daughter. So it became 8 of us in the house. But anyway, her daughter, her son, they would be there. And if one of us came there, it was a fucking, just a chaos. Let's just say we talking, just generally talking in a conversation, and then somehow or another, she's going to interfere in the conversation. I'm talking about with me and her daughter, or possibly my little brother, that she had with my daddy. She would make it out of a mess, and it would start an argument. And my daddy would straight up just fucking take her children's side and would go against me or whichever sister or brother that was there biologically. My mother's 6 children. She would he would just take their side and put us in a position as if we were wrong all the time. And so naturally, me, the type of fucking person I am, everybody say I'm just like him, but I'm far from my father. I mean, I might have a lot of his characteristics, but I'm not, in my heart, oh, fuck no, I could never, never. But I would take my ass, see what the fuck I gotta say, and leave out the house. Leave out their home, because that's what she wanted. She didn't want you there. She just wanted it to be her children, and she got grandchildren now with my half sister and my other brother that she had with my father. I would leave, and I know I'm going throughout this story, but I'm just hoping everybody getting it, because I'm pretty much rushing, because I know this fucking thing here gonna cut off. I wish I could have done this live. This is the shit I want to talk about because not only listening to what took place with Sue, if indeed all of this did, people still be suffering behind all of the trauma they went through in their household coming up. But I'm gonna sort of kind of cut it off, y'all, because I'm gonna do this again. I'm gonna do a documentary on my motherfucking self because I know my whole journey up until now can help somebody. Because see, even though I went through all of that pain and suffering, it was not until when I got my ass shot up that brought me to a whole nother motherfucking dimension. Because you got to live and you must learn why you're living. You gotta learn why you going through this shit. Because if you don't, you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose. You're gonna lose your fucking mind, or you're gonna lose, period, in life. Because you're not gonna be able to go forward if you don't learn throughout your journey from all the experiences you have that cause you some sort of fucking uh, effect, to where it stagnates you throughout your life. But anyways, I accept it. And it's hard. It hurts, but I've accepted. Because who don't want to be affiliated with their family? When you love somebody, you want those people around you. You want memories. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, that's all the fuck you gonna have when they do transition. There's nothing that's more valuable than memory. Nothing. You understand what I'm saying? So, but my point is, and I'm gonna have to, I don't know how, I'm gonna figure out a way to go. This motherfucker gonna have to allow me to go live. That's why I'm trying to get those 1,000 followers, because that's what I need to go live, is what this fucking machine is saying. Or I could, I don't know, maybe I could go use somebody's computer or something. I don't know how the fuck I'm gonna do it. But I got to do this, But anyways, I need people to understand no matter what you go through. And I know it's easier said than done with a lot of people, because the shit was not easy for me. But I've accepted what is and what the fuck was. Because a lot of our parents, they were abused from their parents because their parents were abused. All of this shit go back from way in time on how people were treated. So they didn't know no other fucking way but to be who they became as a person throughout what they were brought up on themselves. And that's why you have a repetitive a behavior, a cycle, if you will. Y'all want to say, general curses. This is why that shit be happening. But you got to, one must get to a place where they releases the situation that they were in, accept it, and move forward. Know that you're not to blame. Because a lot of us, we try to figure out why the fuck we do what we do. But as you grow, you start realizing why. And then that's when you got to make the necessary critical changes in order for the shit to stop. That's why I know for a fact, when it comes down to my 2 children and my grandchildren, my 9 grandchildren, you can't tell me a fucking thing on how I raise them or what I do for them. You know how some people say you did too much for a person? Because I realized where I went wrong with my children. Because see, I spoiled them. I just wanted, of course, like everybody know, you want to give your children what you never had and all this type of shit. But sometimes you can't give them all of what you never had, because some of the shit that you never had was a good thing. And a lot of the shit you did have wasn't so fucking good. But you got to know how to balance that shit off. I spoiled my children, my 2 children. I loved them to the point where people say Wanda, you do too much. You do too much. Where in my mind, I'm thinking, no, it's never too much. When it comes down to your fucking children, it's never too much. Yeah, you might do some things wrong, but it ain't never too much. Cause what mother wouldn't go beyond and above for their motherfucking children? I'm one. I'm going above, beyond. I'm doing it. My two children, my daughter is 32 years old. My son, who's incarcerated, is 28, about to be 29. And still to this fucking day, I will do any and everything I can to help my fucking children. I will. I would, because I just know that is part of a duty of a mother. You never ever give up on your fucking children, right, wrong, pretty, or ugly. You don't do it. You don't do it. And every